next area we're going to be working with is the East. That's called elders. That goes 67.5 to 112.5. Also known as family, not just our biological elders, but those who may have authority over us, bosses, in-laws, etc. Showing respect for our elders, especially those deceased, brings about good fortune for the next generation. We're here, okay? The trigram is Jun, the eldest son. Do you remember what that looks like? So it's elders. It represents the firstborn son, the eldest son, who's the first to go out in the world and represent the family. And that's what this area is all about. It's about respect. So respecting where you came from and what made you who you are today. Having respect for yourself and others. So consequently, this is where we honor our elders. This is where we deal with trauma. See, it's right next to the Northeast, elders. Okay, so we traditionally put pictures of our parents up here and our lineage, all of our family. And we respect them, and that in return gets respect from others. That's how it works. Sometimes you'll find clients find it very difficult, although really adamantly don't want to put any pictures of their parents on the wall because they caused them hurt as a child and they're still suffering in adulthood. So we need to help them to cleanse that. We need to be able to help them to move on. So a nice little exercise is where they imagine that they are the person that caused the trauma in the first place. And they're explaining to them as a child why they went through it, or explaining to them as a victim why they went through it. And this helps them find all the emotions located with that, associated with it, and express it on a bit of paper. And it might be quite traumatic getting it out, but it's a relief. You find incredible kind of lightness after doing it. And you write it down on a bit of paper, and then you burn the paper. So you don't have to keep it. It's just an exercise to remember all the hurt that you've been harboring through that time. It's not right that you suffered in early life, that you continue suffering throughout your life. So it's really good to deal with it there and then. So it might be hard, but by the time you get called in for a consultation, that might be the reason why you're there. And this self-respect and self-esteem helps us in our creativity. Because the more respect we have for ourselves, the more confidence we have, the more we're able to express ourselves. So some of your clients will take that immediately. They write it down. You know, no one needs to see this. It's just between them and their buried emotions. And the whole reason for writing it down is you get them to use their imagination. And when they use their imagination, they start engaging their psychic senses. And all the stuff that they're not aware of will come into their mind. And they just write that down on a bit of paper in terms of getting rid of it, in terms of expressing it, so they no longer have to suffer. And then after that, you forgive. But you've just purged yourself of all that negative emotion. Yeah. It's tragic that children suffer, that we suffer in our earlier life. It's not right that we keep on carrying that pain through into our adult life. So this is just a form of expression. All we have to do is write it down, and then we get rid of it. And it's just a purging process. We don't have to do it in the East. But what we do have to do is to honour where we came from. It really can be quite transformative. Once we do that, we're able to really take a quantum leap forwards. No pain, no suffering, clear expression, great respect for ourselves.
I see.
And that's what, and other people respect us as well for what we do. You know, in common with all ancient cultures, India as well as China, the elders, the grandparents look after the children.
Yes.
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 So here, same with our grandparents, even though they might have passed on.
Yes.
They still watch over our children. That's supposed to bring them luck. So children is actually over here, this opposite direction here. This is where the grandparents are. This is where the children are. So they watch over them. East, elders, and wood. The wood is the host. That's the most important element. So water is good because water supports the wood. Too much metal here causes major issues with parents, in-laws, bosses, with authority in general, peer figures. people in society that should help you. The body area is the foot.
I've got problem with the foot.
Yeah, so that suggests an imbalance in the east.
No, the color of the wall is white, so it is metal.
There it is. So you've got a massive metal wall.
Yeah.
That's the curse sign. The phenomenon here is thunder. Thunder. That means anything that makes a loud noise is good here. So a music centre, a Hoover, a TV. Wood also represents gas. So scent, perfume, incense, scents is a great way of enhancing the wood aspect. And Feng Shui should work on all of our senses. So here's where we celebrate that sense of smell. Actually, you don't want to have kids' bedrooms in the east because it represents elders. If kids' bedrooms are here, they tend to rule the roost. So then what you have to do is to take back the power. So in her bedroom on the east, if it's practical, you need to put your picture, her elders, in her room.
Okay.
Yeah, and make it very prominent.
Okay.
So think of the values that you want her to have. Where she comes from, what makes her who she is, and symbolize that in the eastern part of her bedroom.
Okay.
So for children, you can use a small bagua for them personally. So you've got the bagua for the whole of the space, but for your children, particularly to reinforce respect. Yeah. And then on the eastern wall, you want to have your picture, nice and bright and prominent, and one that she has to look up to.
Okay.
Yeah. And presumably you clearly live together, so you sit and watch TV together. When you eat together, wherever you sit, you want to be prominent, the most prominent. If you can, try and sit in the east. Having more light around you, for instance, will give you more respect, making you more prominent. So sitting underneath a light. By using it for inspiration. Who inspires you? Who do you look up to? The reason why they inspire us is because perhaps we have an empathy with them.
Yeah.
We have the same kind of view. We have perhaps the same talent. And maybe they had a break, which is why they're able to express theirs. But whoever inspires us, whoever we want to be like, we can put that up in this area, and that helps develop that trait in us. So it's a brilliant thing to do. So once you've cleansed and purged, that's what you can do.